Summit, security will have a major effect on thousands of lives. Here's what to expect. The summit will be held near the waterfront at the city's main convention center. Now it, along with the nearby CN Tower and the CBC building, will be off limits to anyone without a pass. Fences, the kind used during IndyCar races, will start to go up June 7th. Another security zone will extend for several blocks beyond that. Nearly 30,000 people live in the area. They'll be able to come and go, but they will be stopped and questioned.
People Summit 2010.ca, People Summit at Ryerson campus. Yeah, so it'll be, I think some of the events are right around here at Ryerson campus. And, that's some of the stuff that we're seeing going on. And for instance, here's another quick clip of what Mayor Miller was talking about when he's talking about the G20. We're just playing these clips off of just a quick recording I did of a community television show, Goldhawk Live. Now, Mayor Miller, the current mayor of Toronto, was on there, talked about what is going on, what are some of the things that you can look out for if you're in the downtown core that if you see it, you'll know that this is a G20 precaution. One of the things has to do with the newspaper boxes, and here is Mayor Miller's thoughts on the...
In the downtown core, every newspaper box has to go for the G20 within the secure area because they're easily picked up. And every one will be checked to see if it is legal and appropriate. And the ones that aren't won't go back.
So that's what he's talking about, is that the newspaper boxes are going to be removed. Now, I guess the authorities have pointed out that newspaper boxes, or the boxes that you see in Now Magazine and iWeekly and all, I guess basically all newspapers have these kind of boxes, as well as flyers. You see a lot of flyering info. They got info on real estate, info on employment. These kind of boxes, I guess, everywhere around the downtown core within the next few weeks are going to be gone. They're going to be removed from the downtown core because they're a dangerous object, I guess, if there is the anarchy going on that they're predicting could happen.
Toronto is entering uncharted territory. We really don't know what the city's going to look like after this G20 summit leaves town. And I really like the idea of our mayoral candidates signing on to a communique. I think people at home are hoping to get a little bit of reassurance. And I like the fact that a united front could give them that reassurance.
Broken windows and the like. For a government that's been willing to spend pretty near $1 billion on staging this thing, then they should have some sympathy and some financial support, especially for those smaller operations that might be impacted by any kind of the disorder which these individuals are likely to sow.
I think that compensation is probably the most important part of this equation, and the thing that the city can be talking the most about, because this is a federal jurisdiction, quite frankly, and the policing, we can talk about our police force all we want, but the reality is it's the federal government that has to come to the table, make sure there's enough money for policing.
I do feel that the missed opportunity that Giorgio spoke to was the circumstance where they're going to spend $1.9 million to build a fake lake in a city that is on the shore of one of the world's Great Lakes. That really strikes me as odd.
And I think we have an opportunity, frankly, to make sure there's lasting benefits. And I think, especially if our Police Chief Bill Blair, who is renowned for defending the right for free speech, as well as making sure that crises don't get out of hand, is in charge of policing in our community.
Now, the wonderful thing about Canada, remember this, is that everybody has a right, and we have the right to protest. And Bill Blair has said, Chief Blair has said, everyone has the right. I'm going to protect their right to protest, as well as protect the businesses and the people in Toronto.
Rob Ford on business.
No, absolutely. I'm a businessman, so you know what? We have to give the businesses a break here. We have to compensate them. Great confidence in our police force. They're going to come. They're going to let them protest fine. But you know what? 90% of it's going to go good. It's positive. This is money for our city. We're going to be on the map. We're going to have tourists here. It's a win-win situation.
Rocco Rossi, you're on the map.
Well, the Torontonians want a mayor and a council that's going to fight for them. And so if there is damage, then they want compensation. And there's been a big bundle of money that's been spent. And so within that umbrella, there should be room to help those who are harmed. With respect to the protests, one of the fundamental rights of democracy is the right to protest, the right to speech. And so long as it's kept within peaceful bounds, as long as it doesn't go to violence, then they should be allowed to continue. If they go beyond, then the police and security needs to respond and will respond. And I think Toronto will show itself to be a great and shining example to the world of how to deal with this properly.
Top 6 candidates hammering out issues, everything from the G20 to transit and everything in between. Speaking of the G20, we've been dipping in with CTV's Paul Bliss. He is at the ground zero of G20 on Front Street. Paul, let's first ask you, what did you make of the debate with regards to what the candidates were saying about how they'd handle the G20, particularly with regards to small businesses?
I think it's very important that many of them address the issue in terms of the letter that Councilor Adam Vaughan brought here, insofar as the people who in this neighborhood experience vandalism because of any potentially violent protests or incur any damages, that they're not going to have the support of the federal government in terms of them giving them money. So the federal government, in essence, has bailed on everybody in this area who might suffer damages because of protests during the summit. They don't have a choice. We're in the security zone. They can't move their businesses. The only thing they can do is maybe barricade them. So I thought it was great that, you know, Adam put that question to the candidates, and the candidates were asked what they would do in terms of fighting with the Prime Minister to get money for people down here who may lose.
And it doesn't end there. Experts looking at this scene will spot a few potential threats. Basically, anything that isn't bolted down will disappear. Newspaper boxes, they'll be removed because protesters could use them as weapons. Now, bikes will be allowed for the same reason, and there won't be any cars on the road. Early today, I hit the streets to see how else life will change. When protesters walk down here, they'll see things like, you know, this sign, like this garbage can, for example, all these things that can be used as projectiles. Are you guys doing anything to get rid of them, secure them?
Absolutely. These types of things that are not secured, these are objects of opportunity. They can be either used to hurt people, damage property, and prevent police from having control of the situation.
So what about these bike posts? Will the city be removing these as well?
That's something that the city will be deciding in the near future.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah, city told us to our company to remove for the G20 conference.
Mayor Miller, thank you very much for coming in once again.
Thank you, Dale. It's a pleasure to be on. We'll see you during the G20, I'm sure.
Yes, I would hope you drop in. We have 24 hours of coverage coming up over 4 days, so we'd love to hear from you at that point.
We'll see you at 3 a.m.
Okay.